What is up, winning team? Hello. So, this video is kind of going to be like a heads up, I guess, because I just did what I did before, and I just cut off the voices of everybody, except from God, for a couple of days. And, well, let's just say, so I'll tell you how it all started, right? I don't know how I'm going to explain this, but this needs to be done now, because after this video, I've made some decisions in the last 24 hours that I've been avoiding maybe for years, some of them. And it all started because a couple nights ago, I actually slept, right? Which you guys know I don't like sleeping. The reason why I don't like sleeping is for this reason, right? I'm either having nightmares of the things I'm scared of, right? I'm having interference from the kingdom of darkness, as in them trying to either intimidate me or speak to me or trip me up or send confusion, or I'm spending time with God, which makes waking up harder because it then feels like getting into the shower and then just like literally waking up feels like jumping back into the swamp again. Or God is telling me his promises, right? His promises of what he's going to do, right? And so then it's painful to wake up back in this reality. So this is one of the main reasons I don't like sleeping, because I see them all as negative, right? And I will admit, been trying to avoid, to an extent, communication in full with God, because I'm just fearful of him like telling me more things that I don't know when they're coming. But the tables turned a few nights ago, because I went to sleep right now, right? And in this dream, so ever since I spoke with Jezebel last year, right? If you guys remember, when it first happened, I was excited because I'd been calling her out. And then the day after, I told you guys the spiritual warfare has increased, like the demons are like a different set of demons. And I can describe to you because I saw these same kind of demons, right? And I was talking with them. And this is another thing I find fascinating. Like a lot of Christians are so fearful of the kingdom of darkness that as soon as danger is there, you just panic. Oh my gosh, who's going to do? Who's going to help? What are we going to do? Jesus, come back. It's like Jesus gave us power and authority. So most of the time, if I can, whether I'm encountering demons in my dreams, whether I'm encountering demons in real life, whether I'm encountering demons in other people, I try to gain information, because is that not what you do? If you meet your enemy and you're in a war, would you not try to keep them alive and interrogate them before you get rid of them? So that's what I do with the demons, right? So I'm noticing that these are demons I'm talking to, right? And there was like 5 of them. And it was the creepiest thing ever, because after the first time I encountered this level of demon, now I'm going to describe to you what they look like. They kind of look like human. They literally look chimeric, like half human and then half just creature, right? And all kinds of different half human, half creatures, right? And so when I first had the encounter with Jezebel, it was the first time I ever saw these kinds of demons. And they all are always dressed like they're at war, like they're soldiers at war, but not just soldiers, like high-ranking soldiers, right? So when the first time I saw them, I was intimidated because they caught me out. I wasn't used to dealing with them, right? And I was horrified the first time I dreamt of them, right? This is the last time I saw these demons, to my knowledge, in my dreams. So this is all the way back last year when I was in Poland in August, right? And so obviously I've had dreams and stuff since. So just to say that, I don't think all my dreams are God or demons or whatever, but definitely some are, right? And again, I think the devil does like to catch me out in my sleep, because that's the time when I'm the least in control in a weird kind of way, because I don't necessarily know what I'm seeing. I don't know if it's God talking. They can manipulate what I'm seeing more easily. With people, I can follow with my discernment. It's a lot easier, like when I'm awake. But when I'm asleep, you know, and especially at the moment, I've been so exhausted, my spiritual strength is not where I want it to be. So that's another reason I kind of avoid sleeping, because I'm like, you know what, maybe this is low-key a blessing in disguise, that God's just like, maybe it's not good for you at the moment to be spending so much time over there, right? So anyway, I saw those demons and they intimidated me. I was intimidated and I was like, whoa, I realized I actually started something that I didn't realize I was starting. All this calling out Jezebel, all this calling out all the people in the world, all this talking about the devil and the Jezebel and the kingdom of darkness and all of this. Even if the world was not listening, like, this is what I'm realizing. Even if the world isn't paying attention, even if people don't care, the spiritual world seems to care. And that's one thing that I honestly am starting to realize should matter more to me than anything, right? Because last night or the night before, this is when it happened, yeah. So I'm asleep and I wasn't sure exactly what was happening. I wasn't even sure that I was dealing with demons. But in the dream, I asked the demon, there was 5 of them, yeah? And again, they were all, again, dressed kind of like they were in battle, you know what I mean? Wearing very functional, like utility clothing, like army clothing, like they have somewhere to go, and like they have a mission, like they're on a mission. They all look like they're on a mission. This is why when people act like demons, like especially the high level demons, are just these like weird beings, it's like, it's really not like that at all. They are calculated, intelligent, like beings with specific goals and agendas, right? So, and assignments. They get assigned to people, they get assigned to do specific things. And they also get, just like how you see in the movies, ironically, punished when they don't fulfill their mission, right? So you guys remember that I told you about that witch who was all the way in Tanzania, right? And this is where it all becomes very ironic. Was all the way in Tanzania, and he was stationed to go and stop this group of Christians from worshipping. If he was successful, he was going to get paid like $1 million, whatever the currency. And if not, they were going to kill him. And he also had to sacrifice one of his family members, was going to die if he failed. So the video is linked in my of his whole explanation of the whole long story. It's all linked in my on my playlist. That's like videos you need to watch. It's not a video by me, it's an interview by another person of God. What stuck out to me and why I'm bringing that up is, in that story, he talks about, like I said, them being punished when they don't succeed. But what happened is God had intervened for him and sent a young girl from the university to stop him getting on the flight after he succeeded. So he succeeded in his mission to stop these Christians from fasting for this 60 days they were doing, or whatever it was. And he was going to go to Rome. And in Rome, what the girl told him, this 19-year-old girl, right? So he's going from Africa to Rome. I want you guys to understand, when I'm telling you, all of this, what we think is happening here, is just not what's really happening, okay? The countries and whatever's, a lot of it is a distraction. So this is why I've been cutting everything off. I don't want to hear the news. I don't want to hear what people are saying. I don't want to be reminded that I'm a woman, or that I'm black, or I don't want to think about the fact I'm in England, or that I don't need to think about that, because that's not the point, right? So I intend, this is why I'm giving you guys this video as a heads up, because I'm gonna actually stay here in this position of just silencing everything other than uploading videos for the foreseeable, okay? Because I need to lock in. So he was going to get sent to Rome. Little did he know, he was going to be cut up to be eaten, so that the people there could consume the powers in his flesh, right? So now that's going to be a whole lot more believable than the first time I told you. Now you've all heard and seen what was in the Epstein files. This is what I'm saying when I say I have to cut everybody off, because I can't afford for the lack of faith and the lack of belief of others to contaminate my own. That's why I say spending time with God, especially when I'm asleep, or when it's the middle of the night. And it's so funny, because I just went to the shop, right? And as I was in there, the song that I listened to, it's a really upbeat song. It's called Midnight Sun by Zara Larsson. You probably heard it. It's such a good song. It's just really light and airy and beautiful. I always listen to that when I'm out at night, and you would think I should be scared. It's dark. There's all these trees, the road where I live, there's always car accidents there, because there's the big, huge vans going to the industrial area. It's not safe, right? Nowhere's safe. I pray to the Lord. I say, God, I give it up to Christ. I protect it in the name of Jesus. And I just tell God, if I need to go, let me know. And he does. The Holy Spirit will tell me now, leave now. Or otherwise, I'm just going to actually let go. And that's why I'm out here dancing. I'm out here crying, writing songs, because I'm in the safety of God, right? So then to have to come back into the earth, it's just I just don't need to be told I don't need to hear any word from any human because I can't afford to contaminate my faith, right? So this guy is going to be eaten in Rome so they could take his powers, which is kind of ironic because in the midst of this cutoff, I've been watching anime, and once again, I'm watching Attack on Titan now. Again, well, I watched the first season, ironically, for the first ever time I watched any anime properly was at Bible study when I was 17, 18. So it's all kind of a full circle moment. Now I'm going back and I'm watching the final seasons, and even in there, the same thing, passing on the special powers by eating the flesh. We've seen that in the world. I've known that, right? So none of this is a surprise to me, right? None of this is a surprise. And again, is it a surprise that all these Japanese anime, Jujutsu Kaisen, same thing, that the first episode, he's eating the finger of the most powerful of the cursed gods that were birthed from the negative emotions of humans. It's always the same story. I've been watching a lot of animes. I can't tell you how many anime I've watched in the last couple of weeks. It's all the same story. Like where it came from, where like my family's from, where they're castrating kids on the streets, right, to use their body parts, right, to do these rituals, right, to the freaking billionaires in the West over there, you know, in places like the United States where people see themselves as more civilized and more whatever than the other places around the world. But the story is that everybody's doing the same things, right? So why did I mention this guy in particular? I know that these demons are serious about their mission. That's where I was going, because they are going to pay the consequence. Because just as Hollywood tells you, like I said, the message is everywhere. We're just not paying attention because we're all so distracted living as slaves, right? Magic comes with a price. So yes, they might get all of these things, but it comes with a price. Their failure also comes with a price. So part of the reason these Hollywood people are so dedicated to their tyranny and all this stuff is because they have to play their part. They can't just choose only the good part, which I told you, I learned that lesson the hard way. So that's another coinkadinkle of my life. That, coinkadinkly, I also happen to pursue a lot of these options, and I also happen to see that it's actually not what people think it is. So when those demons were looking at me, how they were looking at me, I was terrified. But I was like, you know what? Now I've just got to lock in on my faith. I've got to lock it in. Like, I'm hearing all these things. I'm seeing Jezebel. I was like, I'm just going to have to lock in because I've made my decision now. Is my faith real or isn't it? Like, that was the question I was asking myself. Like, is your faith real or isn't it? So I had to really sit with that thought, right? So the next thing is the other night, I see these demons. I asked them a question and they all resoundingly answered the same exact answer. And the thing is, they were standing almost in like a pentagon shape, right? But not like a pentagon, like a star. Well, actually, I guess, yeah. I never thought of it that way, but yeah. And the one who I was talking to mainly was in front of me because I asked them something. And then I asked a question to the group, right? And they were all standing, right, with the demeanor of like, they were standing like to the side. So like I was like to their right side and they were all looking over their right shoulder, right? Kind of like this, right? They were looking at me like that. And I realized they look scared. So I realized they know something I don't. And for the first time, when I woke up, in a way I was horrified because like, this is why I don't sleep, because I've been through a night of hell. I'd had so many different dreams and nightmares, this, that, couldn't sleep, could sleep, brain's going at a billion miles because a lot of times I can't sleep because it's just this ongoing, like, my thoughts are just ongoing and I'm just thinking, and I can't shut it down. And then as soon as I think about falling asleep, I think about the fact that I'm unsafe. Somebody could bust into my house. Somebody could knock at the door. My phone could ring. And then I get like this jolt of anxiety that wakes me back up again. So that's why I just don't bother. And I decided to replace my sleeping time with anime at the minute. And when I noticed that they were looking scared, you guys, do you know what else I noticed? Yesterday, I think it was, I was looking out and I was noticing the sunset, right? Because obviously you guys know I pay a lot of attention. That's why I'm out right now, even though I've not really got a lot of battery. I'm not really prepared to record, but whatever. Because I'm like, I need to record this outside where I feel like my voice feels free. And I need to do it before the sun sets, which the sun is going to set soon, which I only know because I noticed that, the sun is setting a lot later now. I've also noticed that the trees are starting to sparkle some leaves and I've started seeing some little flowers popping up. And of course, it's the 1st of March. It's a change of season. And we all know that the Lord does things in seasons. And so I don't know what it is, but the fact of seeing the demons looking at me like that, these hybrid, like humanoid creatures all dressed for war on a mission. And the thing is, whenever I encounter them, it's almost like they're always like kind of like, I don't know if anybody else has this. I'm going to sound like absolutely Nietzsche when I say this, but sometimes I'm not dreaming. I'm in another realm. Like, as in, like, I'm existing there. Like, I'm not like, oh, something's happening and I'm seeing stuff. Like, I'm existing there. Like, things are happening. I can do stuff. I can make things happen. I'm having conversations. I've been back to the same places. It's almost like I have another whole life. Like, that sounds so crazy, I know. And listen, this is one of the things that's been holding me back, is like, if I really, all the things I say, and when I say them, I sound like an absolute Looney Tune to the world. And that's why I have to cut the world off. And I had to make the tough choice to just keep everybody at arm's length, because as much as I love everybody, right? And I've been trying to think about, what does my love actually mean? You know, as much as I love everyone and as much as I really want to participate, I just know that for whatever the Lord has in store for me, it's not going to help, because one of the things I've been thinking about myself is there's only two real things that I feel like I truly offer that are positive to the world. One of them is my faith, is in just the fact that I have so much faith in God, the magnitude of it. And then the other one is the magnitude of my dedication to stopping injustice. Like, those are two things nothing can stop me from, no matter what you take from me, no matter what, nothing. And so I've realized that I just have to be okay with loving people the way that I love them. Some people get to love people by, like, you know, spending all this time and doing all of this. And some people love others by doing the jobs that nobody else is prepared to do. And that's one of the things I've decided to accept in the past, like, 48 hours, that I'm just going to have to accept where I'm at. And I'm honestly okay with it, because as I said, it's good to keep a clear head. Like, right now, I'm speaking to you guys clear-headedly. There's no confusion in my mind. There's no wavering in my thoughts, right? And I know the second, because it's Sunday evening, the second I have to go back to work, it's all just part of it's going to start to unravel, and I'm going to start to question things again, because I'm going to be amongst the world. I'm going to be amongst humans, people that have got their attention on the wrong things. And so in all of this, I wanted to share one revelation I had with you guys that I want you guys to think about, because I'm telling you guys at the winning team, because I want you to prepare yourselves. Some of you need to unsubscribe. And I mean that for the sake of your own mental health and the sake of your own lives, because I'm honestly, I've said it to you guys before, that I'm really genuinely prepared to risk it all. So you should question if you're ready to risk it all for your faith, like, for real. And that's why I said this is kind of like a heads up, but kind of also like a warning. You need to actually sit there right now. Take the time while we still have it. Question if you're really prepared to risk it all for your faith. And if not, find the position of this whole strategy and this game that we have to play that you feel comfortable with. Find your line, because I promise you, the devil knows your line better than you do. The devil knows what our price is. That's why even these billionaires and all these people who do all this stuff, they're just like, what's your price? What's the price to shut you up, right? Is it money? Is it dingle dangling your family or your best friend or whatever? What is the price that I can pay you to not fulfill the mission that God has set for you, right? And that's why none of us are doing the work. Like it says in the Bible, Matthew 9, it talks about, the harvest is plenty, but the laborers are few, right? So I noticed what my mission, I feel like I've been finally understood what I'm actually here to do, and that I'm only here to do, we're all only here, God has given us all a specific purpose, right? And people really like to over spiritualize purpose, I feel like, and at the same time don't think about it enough. This is why I have an issue with the education system. We're all talking about what skills do I have, so what job can I get? It's like, no, what did God place inside of you that you're actually capable of, like you were built for, not just what you can manage. Like God specifically created you to do, and created your circumstances. Because I was thinking the circumstances of how I've been in other places around the world, how I've been in the church, even the fact that I was a pastor's kid, the circumstances of me actually being in a lot of these places around people with money, power and fame, in the science areas, in the creative areas, is giving me a lot of advantages that I really didn't realize come until now, right? And so even though I've been through a lot of pain and a lot of hurt, I was like, God, why? I really feel like God has just allowed me to, just let the world beat all the things out of me that I once loved, like when I was younger, like I said, the first ever time, like in the beginning, when I was about to move out and I was all excited and I was all hopeful, and all of that's been completely beaten out of me. Ever since I had this dream, I don't even cry anymore. I'm not even crying. Like and not in like I'm numb. It's more like I just feel focused. I feel like I got the emotions out of the way. 2025 was the year of the heartbreak. I just cried for every heartbreak. Every heartbreak I never allowed myself to cry for before, I cried for last year. And I allowed myself to go through those emotions. And now it's just like, what do we actually do from here? I've asked God why he refuses to let me die more hours than I've been alive, in my entire life. And I realized something, that once again, I have a choice. It's like, I have a choice, I have a choice, and I'm not going to necessarily specify what that means just yet, because I'm going to talk about a lot of this in upcoming videos, all which I'm going to film whilst I'm still in a state of clarity before I click back into the world, right? But you got to ask yourselves that, you guys, like, what is it? Because God has created us all for something, and he's given us the capacity to handle what it takes to do it if we choose to do that. And that's what I've realized. That's why I'm still here, despite my like hatred for like literally everything, my hatred for actually existing, despite my everything, I'm still here. And I got to this conclusion because I realized something, that the world is always going to be the world. And this is the revelation I wanted to share with you all. The world is always going to be the world. Humans we're always going to repeat the same cycles, right? We always are. We're going to ignorantly and foolishly just keep adding to the world, following our own wisdom, bringing our own destruction, having to deal with it, so on and so forth. The loser, there's always going to be another loser to rise up. That's what I realized, because it's always a loser. It's always somebody with something to prove, somebody that's desperate for power, somebody that doesn't feel respected, someone like that is, and these are how all the people at the top, they're all people like that with something to prove, with pride, who can't face to the truth, right? Who can't face up to the truth of the reality of the world they've been born into and the reality they individually have been born into and are living in. So they have to find an answer. They have to find a solution, and they obsess over it, whether they obsess over it through science or they obsess over it through wanting money or power, fame, right? They obsess over that thing, whether they obsess over it by their job that they do, This is why some people people that like to really micromanage, or like the teachers that I like to refer to as shticklers, right? The shticklers who just love the power, right? They have something. And I haven't had that thing. That's why I've been thinking, what is my reason to wake up in the morning? Like, what is my reason? I need a reason why it's worth waking up, because I don't have one, because there's nothing I want here. And I realized something, that the world is always going to be the world. I've never been somebody who wants to change the world, by the way. I've never wanted to be a hero. This is why all these hero movies, they never enticed me, really. Like, oh my gosh, a superhero, oh my gosh. No, because I always felt like, well, it's interesting when you look at everybody's sides, who really is the hero and who's the villain. It's all a matter of perspective, and it's something you notice in movies. I love how in TV and movies, the timing of people's backstories and how it changes the narrative entirely, And so, I realized that all we can do, guys, is do the part that God asked us to do. And that has honestly been the most contenting thought, is just we have to figure out what God is asking us individually, ourselves, to do. And all we have to do is do the part that God asked us to do. We can't change the fact that even though we could change everything right now in the world, right? For the better in 100 years, because this is what I've been thinking about. I think hundreds and thousands of years down the line, right? When I think about things like the future, right? A lot of people want to fight for tomorrow. They want to fight for their country. They want to have kids to continue their bloodline. But they're always thinking in the short term. It's like how we learn about history in school, but we learn about the last 100 years. That's yesterday. We got to think hundreds of years ahead, hundreds of years in advance, thousands, right? And how our actions, because that's how we got here. It was the actions of people from hundreds and thousands of years ago that brought us to where we are. Yeah, you see the sun setting, it's getting dark, but hey, we're nearly there. So this is what we need to do, guys. We need to be thinking like, what is it that I need to do in this timeline that I exist in, and where has God placed me in this game, and what pieces do I have to play? I've said that so many times, but I just didn't realize that, the situation was a lot more simple than I thought. Like, I was kind of I'm actually exactly where I need to be. I'm actually exactly where I need to be, and I've always been exactly where I need to be. That's why I was laughing in the shop about hearing that song playing. Because it's like, I'm thinking, do I even need to record a video? Should I even be out? Should I just wait till tomorrow? Should I just this? But then I should have charged my phone. Should I have waited another half an hour? But I had this burning sense that I need to do it now. And lo and behold, it's like these little signs that tell me like your life is working out in like perfect choreography, and you just need to have faith. Because one thing I've learned, whether it's all these big wig world leaders, all with their fighting for their countries, defending their countries, or just getting fat sitting on their thrones, or just wasting away, clinging to power, clinging to life because they know where they're going when they die. One thing I realized is none of us know the hell what we're supposed to be doing. None of us ever will. None of us with our own human wisdom will ever have the answers or ever be right. I'm never going to be right. The only thing I can do that's going to be right is to have faith. Right? Because God knows better. Because that's what I'm realizing now. He always knew better. He's been answering my prayers all along. I'm all like, God, give me a heart like yours. Give me a mind like yours. Oh, all of a sudden I hate the world. All of a sudden I can't stand the things of the world. All of a sudden I can't participate in the world. All of a sudden. You know what I mean? Is it going to rain? I'd be really unfortunate. Lord, please, please, this is the one time I don't want it to rain. Just so I finish this video. But, and so that's what I realized. And so I'm not gonna divulge exactly what I've realized, but I understand what my mission is. Because you see, the thing is, I feel like God always, I feel like every time I've ever seen him tell us humans what we need to do, it's always been as clear as two specific things. Adam, look after the garden, keep it, from Jesus. Spread the gospel, build the kingdom. Like, it's just two things. Oh, it's raining. It's about to start raining. So yeah, figure out what it is that you need to do. Hold on. We need to just get to the point where we understand what the simple message of what God is asking us to do. We tend to overcomplicate things, like how we're living our life, how life is supposed to be lived. As I told you, since I was a kid, I always hated all these conversations amongst adults trying to like nitpick and critique and understand all the tiny little, intricacies of the government and politics and the world history. And it's like, we probably don't even know world history, guys. We probably don't know anything, because do you really think that these people are going to give us the access to the information that would actually help us? Do you think they're going to put the information that's available to us in a favorable way that gives us the opportunity to actually succeed the way they do? Because they're all clinging on to power for dear life. They're all clinging on to power. This is what they were saying in Attack on Titan: eat the flesh so that we can keep the powers within the bloodline. I'm like, it's always about this freaking bloodline and keeping forward. I don't care about, if it was up to me, guys, I'll be honest, I'll let the world burn. I'll just let the world burn. I'll be so honest. If I was God, I don't care to save the world. I don't care to save the adult population. I don't care, because it's hell here and we always create hell. So I actually think if it was up to me, my solution would be, let's just let it all end. Let it all end. Let everything end. That would be my solution. I don't see the solution in let's give the world a chance and let's try and do better. And I've given up on that. I've given up on that a long time ago, because I've realized that no matter what we do, and it is all there since the very beginning, since Adam and Eve, as soon as we're given the option, we always choose chaos, ultimately. The sum of our decisions as humans is always selfish. The sum. The net sum of all of our decisions is chaos. We always choose it. We always have. We always will. So this whole idea of us trying to like change humans for the better, the only solution to change humans for the better is for the Spirit of the Lord, the God, to dwell within our bodies, to fight against this flesh that we have, and to fight against this world that we've created. And it's hell going through it, because it's so potent around the world. So that's what I'm saying to you guys. Like, I really have been avoiding this day, and my goodness, do I just want to go back to the days when every day was like this, when I started this whole journey out. And all I would do is spend time in the clouds of the Lord, reading my Bible, and just, spending time in nature before they start cutting everything down. Like this winter, I didn't even go in the forest. I've been in like the little bits, patches of trees, like where I was just sitting, but I haven't been in the forest all winter because it's ruined. It's been ruined. Like what we do with everything, we cut everything down, we kill it all. That's what we always do. Like the animals, we do the same thing. We learn a technology, we learn something, we fully exploit it. Like this is why I don't know why anybody's surprised by what a lot of people in the world are doing. That's all we've ever done, is we take good things and we exploit them. And then when it backfires on us, right? Because then it's like, oh no, we've killed too much. Now we're going to be in a famine. And there's a famine, yeah, because we're killing all the animals, we're killing all their habitats, we're killing everything. Oh, everything is so expensive. Oh, everything this. Yeah, because we destroy it all. We destroy it all. We destroy it. And what I would give to go back to those days, I'm telling you, those are the days of euphoria for me. Okay, guys. I don't have a lot of time to explain. My phone died. So now I'm here recording and I got to get this done quickly because I have I have something I have to do. Anyways, as I was saying, I wanted to make sure to close this off properly. Okay. Now is the time for us all to really be thinking about exactly where we see ourselves and what we are prepared to do in this time. And like I said, I need you guys to be thinking about, right, is that we need to let go of this hope in the world becoming a better place and figure out what you want to do, what God has given you to do for whoever the people he needs you to do it with. Because what I've realized is that, you guys know I always talk about, what is it I'm going to say to God when I get to heaven? Like, how am I going to, I think about Judgment Day every single day. Every day I think about Judgment Day. I think, because for me, it's a huge thing to face the Lord. Like the fact that I'm going to face God, like, and I visualize, like, I don't know what it's going to look like, but I don't have a vision of what God the Father looks like, right? But we're going to be standing in the courts of heaven, like in the gates of heaven or before the throne. I always imagine like standing before the throne at the end of all of this and just like looking at God. And I question, like, what am I going to say to explain that? Like, how am I going to explain and account for what I've done in this life? What am I going to be able to be proud of? What am I going to be able to say that I contributed? What is something I can get before the Lord? Because for me, that's all that matters, is at the end of the day, whatever happens on earth is all fun and games. And I've realized that's why I'm not really interested in the fun and games of it all, because it's just like, well, I could easily do that, but then what? Then I go to eternity and all I ever did throughout all of history was what? Just enjoyed the vibes. And guys know I love to enjoy the vibes more than anything, right? But even me is feeling the sense of like, no, we got to lock in and we got to have something to show, because people talk a lot, in wars and like in situations about the people that did this and the people that paved the way. So we actually have to pave the way, you guys. The Christians that we read about in the Bible, those that came before, they're not just fun stories and fairy tales. They're real life humans like you and me who existed at a time and had a choice just like we do, what they were going to do with the 24 hours that they have every day and what they were going to be able to say, what they were going to have to say when they eventually came before God. And so I think about that all the time, as you know, and I think that that's what you need to be thinking about, because I do feel, and I'm reluctant to say it, but I do feel the tide's changing slightly. And I feel that as though everything that we've all been through is all going to be worth it. And it is all worth it as long as you have something you can stand before God and say, hey, I took this and I did my best. One thing I've been realizing about myself is I'm not somebody that can ever be inspired to do something that doesn't have a clear goal set. So that's why I can't just like live and work and live to work to die. Like I can't just do that. I can't just like be here for the vibes, because it's like, for then what? Why? What's the point? You know what I mean? What's the point in any of this? What's the point in all these conversations? What's the point in gaining all this knowledge? What's the point if I don't reach a goal, and if I also don't choose a goal that's actually reachable, because a lot of the goals that people have these days, especially a lot of people who have the resources to, are just these wild goals of like living forever or going to outer space or conquering the entire world. And it's like, and then what? Like, say you have an empire, okay, you conquered the world, and then what? And then what? Somebody else is going to rise up and try and create an empire at another stage. Somebody else is going to, you know what I mean? It's like technology. Somebody else is going to raise up another new technology. Like, we have to think about what's going to be a meaningful stamp for us to leave as part of the kingdom. You know what I mean? What is it that we're going to do? What is it that we're going to say that we're going to achieve? And I realize that I can't control what's happened in the past. And I definitely, certainly don't know what's going to happen in the future. And by future, I'm not talking about my future while I'm here. I'm talking about the future when I'm not here. What I can do is I can make sure that I did the best with certain things for while I was here. So at least when God has to call everybody to account for the state of the world and everything that's happened and all the chaos, I can be like, hey, God, I stood up. I stood up. I did what you asked me to do. And I can't be blamed for those that came before, and I can't be blamed for those that came after. I can't control the situation I came into, and I can't control the situation that will continue after me, but I can control the situation I'm in now, and I can control my own choices, and therefore, as such, I'm going to live like that, you know. And that was my final thing that I realized, you know what, I really do really feel like, yeah, I do want to get out of this. And I've said to God, if you want to know one of my requests I've been making in the last few days, I was like, God, you know what? I'm willing to agree to all of this as long as soon as it's over, I get to go and be with you. Like, I don't want to linger around. I don't want to see whatever. Like, the second I've completed whatever it is you're asking me to do, please just give me confirmation you're going to let me go. Because I've been fighting, wanting to die my whole entire life, you know, and obviously I'm still here, and obviously the Lord is fighting, and there's a part of me that's been fighting as well, which I realized that it's not just me, because in order for me to actually die, I would have to give up my faith. That's what I realized. In order for me to actually, because I have faith in God, there's a part of me within me that's always fighting, because I always believe that God can do it tomorrow. God can do it right now. God could do it in the next 10 minutes. So even though I actually still try to do it anyway, I feel like it's so weird now that I think about it, but it's that fight of faith that I have in me somewhere that just keeps fighting. And just, it's like now my body refuses to give up. My brain everything just refuses to give up, because it's like, in order for me to actually give up, I'd have to give up my faith. And that's just something I've realized is just never going to happen, because I've been through the things that would make me lose faith. What am I going to lose now? There's nothing I could lose now. There's nothing I can lose. I gave up on all my dreams at the end of last year. I gave them up. I just didn't care about them anymore. Any of my dreams, I don't care about them anymore. Like, none of them. None of the dreams that I've had or the things that I want, I don't care for any of them anymore, because I've realized none of them are worth it on this planet. And so, since, you know, I love the Lord and that's what's keeping me going, and, you know, I don't want to be another human being that just lives and then, you know, doesn't even do the one thing he created us to do, which is have a relationship with him. I don't want to let him down. And ultimately, that's what I had to realize, is that at the end of the day, our choices are revealing of our heart and our intent in this life. And most of our reactions and actions as humans reveal that we are inherently selfish. We care more about ourselves than anything else. You know, everybody has something that they're fighting for, something they care about, even if it's something noble, like, oh, I want to, you know, fight for your country or fight for your community or fight for your family. But the truth is, everybody has a country, everybody has a community, everybody has a family. And so what do we do with that if that's all we're ever fighting for? We have to fight for something that's in the bigger picture of just everything. Because, you know, and this is what I'm thinking about, that's why I'm like, there's always going to be another war. Because if you take down one nation and you rule, well, guess what? Fast forward in a couple thousand years, probably the nation that you took over, there's people that are carrying the pain of the ancestors that you destroyed, carrying the vengeance, the vengeful energy, who want to come back and take over you know what I mean? Like, that's why I'm like, there's no real winning in us just having these small, tiny little goals that are very like selfish and like insular, I feel like is the word, right? Where it's just about us and our little community or our little whatever, because we all live in this world together. And that's why I find it so annoying, right? This is the things I've been getting really annoyed about, and I've decided it's something I'm no longer going to tolerate, spending any time around people like this, when people are just, you know, coasting in life,
trying to protect the little you have. But it's like in war, right? When people, not even in war, but just in life, people will fight for their life. But I'm like, you're fighting for your life, but you're not fighting to actually live a life. You're not fighting for having actual freedom. You're fighting to stay alive, to stay a slave. Like, that's something I can't do anymore. Like, I can't fight for that's why I don't want to fight for my life, because there's nothing that's worth fighting for. I don't want to fight to stay a slave. I don't want to fight to work in Egypt. I don't want to fight to have the government telling me everything what I have to do when I know exactly what kind of people they are. I don't trust them. Who? You know, I got a letter from America talking about election ballot, and I just looked at it and I just laughed. That's where I've got to now, to the point where I just laugh at these things. You know, because it's like, and for what? And for what? I'm still a slave in this place. That's not something worth fighting for. It's not. You know what's worth fighting for? Like something meaningful, freedom. You know what I mean? For those who can't fight for themselves, for something greater than me, for people that have been through worse than I have. That's something worth fighting for. Not just, oh, I did the bare minimum basic thing that like everybody else does. And that's why, again, I still don't get why so many people, given that in the situation where there's an extreme situation that takes place, right? Like a war, given that in that moment, you're just going to stand there screaming and panicking, which you guys know is one of my pet peeves. Why stand there screaming and panicking for your life when you're not even prepared to fight? You're not prepared to fight for anything. Nothing meaningful. You're prepared to fight against another community or another this or another whatever. You're prepared to fight, you know, to protect yourself from ever taking accountability. You're prepared to fight to protect what you care about, what matters to you, right? But you're not willing to fight for the greater good. You're not prepared to fight for the kingdom you call yourself a member of. We're like a kingdom, we're like an army that has no soldiers, is the body of Christ. We're crying out to Jesus, oh, Jesus, come and help this. We pray Jesus will come. Jesus, please come. And Jesus like, yeah. And you know the thing about that? Yeah, I died so that you guys would have the power and authority, so that I could go and do the rest of the work I need to do. And I can leave this place to you guys, and you can all fulfill the purposes God has for you guys. He fulfilled his purpose. He did, and he will again, because he has his purpose when he came here. He had his pre-death and his post-death purpose. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, God gives us usually two clear instructions. He came here to defeat death. That's what he had to do, defeat death and defeat sin, defeat it. You know, so think about this, guys, because I am not going to lie. I don't want to like jump the gun here, but I feel myself just becoming very, very serious, and I haven't felt serious like this maybe ever in my life. And it all started because of this dream. It all started because of this dream when I saw the way those demons were looking at me, and the way that they were answering my questions as if like, how do you not know this? And how it was almost like, how is it her? Like, how is her? How is she? Because obviously they can see me in the spiritual realm, so they can see me for like what I really am, not what people think I am, not what people want me to be. And that's the positives and the negatives. Because I think a lot of people think there's a lot more positive than there is. That's my opinion. So I think they were looking at me like that, like, how is this girl, this heathen, how is it her? And they just know more than I do. And when I saw that look on the demon's face, you guys, that told me everything I needed to know. I didn't even need to know what they did know. All I knew was I'm doubling down on my faith. So anyway, guys, I'm going to be doing, I'm not going to say anything about what I'm going to be doing other than I can tell you I'm going to be staying out in the clouds with the Lord. Like, I'm not coming back down until I know exactly what my next move is going to be, because that's what I feel like is necessary. Hold on a minute. I feel like that's what's necessary at this stage. I just can't afford to, and the thing is, yeah, and this is what I'm worried about, I need to get out of me whatever it is that would cause me to hesitate once the opportunity I'm looking for finally arises. So that's why I'm getting myself to a state of clarity. So it's almost just like I don't even remember what it was like to think like everybody else anymore. And I'm telling you guys because I do love you. And unfortunately, the way I thought I was going to show my love and the way I've actually been showing it is two different things. But the way that I've actually been showing it is the best way that I can, which is I'll do the parts that other people are not prepared to do. Unfortunately, that means loving everybody from a distance. But having said that, that just means it's part of the team. We all have our part to play. We all have our own things. And just because of how I'm doing what I'm doing, that doesn't change how you need to do what you need to do. Right? There isn't, God didn't create us all, to do with the same. If he wanted us all to be, that's why I don't even like the concept of normal. What's normal? None of us are the same. No single one of us on the world is the same. Right? There's no such thing as normal. Right? And so anyway, I'm going to actually go because I actually have to go. But yeah, sorry for the whole craziness of this video. I hope you guys get the gist of where I'm coming from. I hope that all of this is going to make sense. I'm getting really nervous now because I just I don't know. Ever since I saw those demons' face and then I woke up after that ordeal and just thinking they're looking at me like her, but then like that says a lot because you're terrorizing me, like, because it's almost like after the Jezebel thing, they were like testing me out, like to see like what it was like. It's almost as if like I didn't really matter prior to them. It's so weird, all of this stuff, by the way. And then now I let all my dreams die last year. I went through all the heartbreak and it just got it all out. And now I just feel like, I just feel focused. I feel focused and I feel set, like this is the direction we're going and we're going that direction and we're not looking back and we're not second guessing. So anyways, guys, I hope this has been helpful. I don't know what is going to be coming next, although I kind of do, but you'll just have to stay tuned, but prepare yourselves. If you really are a member of the winning team, like now I'm officially like actually calling you guys out. If you really are a member of the winning team, right, this winning team here, this is the time where I need you guys to lock in. Okay? I'm going to try and do my part. Let's all do our parts. And Lord God, in the presence of the rest of the team, give us the strength, give us the wisdom, send all your angels to protect us, guide us. Holy Spirit, speak to us, teach us, counsel us, and help us through this because, Lord, we cannot fail. We know we cannot fail, but we are still humans. So we tend to mess things up, even in our best intentions. So we pray that your power, your success, and the authority and power that we got through Christ will override any of our deficiencies, any of our mistakes, and that we would all see each other through to the finish line. Because you know what I realized in all of this, guys? I realized something. I don't actually even care about necessarily making it to the promised land in a weird way anymore. I almost feel like there's something, a lot's changed. I'm almost just satisfied with fulfilling the mission I was set and making it and seeing everybody in heaven, but we're still going to the promised land because that was our birthright. And so why are we going to give that up? When we were reborn, when we were born again, that was our rights. So obviously I'm still going for the promised land, but I realized that even if I never made it there, do you know what? It would all be worth it because I could fulfill what God asked me to do. And on top of that, I still get to see everybody. I still get to see the whole team when we spend eternity together as winners, as champions, as overcomers for the rest of eternity. And that is something to look forward to and something worth fighting for. And on that note, guys, if a life's a game, let's play to win. God bless you all. God loves you. I love you. And I'll see you in my next one. Goodbye. Also, sorry about the state of the video. Listen, I had a lot to do and it was all very last minute, but you guys just know I love that you guys are you work with me and I really appreciate that. I am so grateful. And if I had more time, I would spend more time on my gratitude, but I actually have to go and get ready to do something that I have to do that has to get done tonight. Anyway, God bless you all. God loves you. I love you. And I'll see you in my next one.